Hey everyone. So, I was thinking about there's a common expression, and people say, what, you think you're better than me? Or you think you're better than this or that or so and so, Oh, you're too good to continue doing this thing that you've been doing that now suddenly you're not good enough or too good to continue doing. Like people just they give you the guilt trip and they just blame you, make you feel bad for deciding that you don't want to do this thing anymore, or you don't want to be around this person anymore, or just whatever it is. That's just whatever applies to your situation. It's fairly universal, and I think that there are a lot of things that apply. So I was just thinking about it. And I feel like that's a fantastic thing. I feel like that's exactly what should be going on. I feel like that is exactly what people should be doing, is getting better, doing better, being better than things they are doing, or being better than people they are with, to a certain degree, within reason, you know what I mean? Like you're trying to live your life, and then however your progression goes, if you've decided that you're in an area you no longer need to be in, there's nothing for you there anymore, you need to move on. That's just part of it. Like that's the way that it works. You get so good at something and then you just can't get any more from it, and then you either do something else with it on another level, or you go on to the next thing. I don't know. That just seems very logical to me. But anyway, the thought is that it's the guilt. It's the people that, for some reason in their mind, believe that the thing is the better. Whatever it is, the thing, the place, the person, the object, the activity, whatever it is, it is the greater. It is the idol. It is on the pedestal. So but that's just one way of thinking. And I feel like, unfortunately, because those people are so firm in that belief, in that programming, that confidence, ensures their message gets across. Because people who are thinking about leaving something may be wavering, they may be kind of iffy, they're on the fence, they've been doing it so long, there's that comfort, there's that assurance, the knowledge, you know what's going to happen, you know how it's going to work, you know how that person's going to act, you know the rules of the game you're playing, whatever activity, place, person, etc. it is that encompasses your idea of this is, it's there, and you know it's there, and you know why it's there, even if it's not the best thing for you anymore, or you're not getting anything from it, the comfort is what keeps you. And so when somebody comes out with this confidence regarding this thing that you are comfortable with, then it makes people backpedal. It makes people just it makes people crawfish, as my dad would say. They swim backwards. They go back into it. The progression is lost. There is direction, but it's not in a positive manner. It's just, like I said, it's a backpedal. So there's a lot to this, but the confidence from the person who holds the belief that for your individual case, as an individual, is incorrect. Because that is their belief. That is their idea. That is the thing that they like to live life by. So if you feel, or if you are living by a different mentality or mantra or mindset or programming or thought process or processes, then you should be going by that, right? I mean, that is you. That is how you think. And until you do what you think and realize it is or isn't good for you, then you don't really know. You don't. You have to do it to find out. So it's just, I was thinking about, going back now to the original idea, is It's really big in family for sure. Like that's the one that I was thinking of, where you're becoming the person you want to be, whether you're outspoken about it or you're doing it, like in the shadows or in the quiet. Like you keep to yourself, you keep to your own mind, and you don't verbalize your plans, and you just have them and do them. You get to that point where you're just ready for the next part of your plan. The next thing is whatever it is, and sometimes people don't notice you've been planning or doing the entire time until the next step is a greater step or a more noticeable step. And the one in particular I was thinking of was like leaving an area, where everybody stays, leaving your hometown, leaving your family, if you want to call it that. It doesn't sound right, but that's what it is. And it's this thing you've decided to do, and it's part of your life and your process and your progression as the individual that you are and as the person you're trying to create and are creating. But the other people with their influences who believe or hold, the thoughts or the ideas that they're already where they need to be, will overpower you because they have that confidence. And unfortunately, the people who are progressing through life, it's a stumble. There aren't set rules. You don't exactly know, well, this is how I get there. I just have to do this and do that and then these things, and then I'm there and I just do that forever. It's more like perhaps you hold the idea of self-betterment, where there is no straight line. There will never be a straight line. There are so many different groups that you can be a part of, and so many different things, that you will hold higher than others. Like maybe your idea of self-betterment is better flexibility in your muscles and your body, and eating properly and being able to play the piano. Maybe somebody else's idea of self-betterment is, weighing this much and being able to run this far while only drinking, 6 fluid ounces of water in the past week. Or like, it's just your goals, your plans, like whatever the specific rules you've set for yourself and who you want to be, and who you are now, are just, they're not, there's no real guideline, like nobody can tell you who you want to be. That is absurd, that is insane, that is impossible. They can give you the psychology of why you are wanting to do the things that you want to do. Whether or not you take that as a good thing or not is up to you. But I mean, yeah, there are ways of telling, like, well, okay, this person wants to run marathons. Maybe you could say that they're running from something constantly. You know what I mean? Maybe they just have a lot of energy and they need to exert that energy. And the way that they found that works best for them is to constantly be moving, and running is their movement. But regardless of, the science or whatever you want to call it behind knowing who we are, and knowing how we're going to react to stimuli and to traumas and foods and environments, etc., ad nauseum, ad infinitum, then it doesn't change anything. That it's there and you know it, and that's great, but you still have to do what you want to do. Like, that's why we're here. That's why people are going crazy, is because there's so much confusion involved in somebody trying to do what they want to do, that when they finally do it, and then they get all this negativity and all this backlash, and we wonder why people, go into these horrible depressions and they get severe anxiety, and they just don't open up to people anymore, is because, like, they finally have mustered up the strength to be themselves, and then they get shut the fuck down. And then what are they going to do, like spend years mustering up the strength again to be themselves? And it's like, you can't, it's like the car wreck analogy that I gave in a previous video. You have to build that momentum back. You don't just wake up from that and then you're just like, oh, okay, I'm going to go be me again now. It affects people differently. We can't all just assume that everything is perfect in everybody's lives, and then they can take that one thing and then roll with the punches and then go on, you know? Maybe that's the fucking straw that broke the camel's back. But this is turning into a rant, and I every time I do this, I don't know if it's even coherent or cohesive, but it just, these are the things that come out. So the point of it all is that, going back again to the original idea of, you know, oh, you're too good to live here now, or you're too good to date me now, or you're too good to eat this kind of food, or you're too good to drive that kind of a car, you're too good to weigh 10 pounds more than, you know, you want to weigh, or you're too, like, you know, all these things. Yes, fucking yes. Yes, you are too good for that. That is the goal. That is what you should be doing. You should be doing things until you are too good for them, and then you can either do them at the level you've reached now, or in a different way, you know, adding to it, doing it in a different way, a better way, or you move on and you go do something else, and you do it until you're too good for it, right? There's nothing wrong with intellectual and physical, progression. It's part of nature. It's part of who we are as people. And for some reason, we're brainwashed and programmed and browbeaten and into thinking that we're not better than things. We are fucking better than things. What else on this planet is better than us? Throw us in the ocean, yeah, I mean, we'll get eaten by a shark, but fuck, like, in our habitat, in our domain, in our environment, we are it. We are it. We're just a bunch of fucking badasses walking around all the time. That doesn't mean you gotta go fighting people. You know, we don't have to kill each other, but you can find your niche. You can find the thing that you do that you want to do, and you can fucking be good at it. Until you don't want to be good at it anymore. Until you're the best at it, and then you can find something else. You know, that's why people choose life paths, where maybe they decide they're going to learn about humans for the rest of their life, like psychology, for instance, and so they go to school for it, and they write dissertations and hold interviews, and they're constantly figuring out, well, this guy thinks he's Jesus Christ, let me go see if I can find out why, and this woman reacted this way after experiencing this type of trauma. Is that something I compare to other instances that have happened, and can I then help her out based on, you know, these things that have happened to other people in the past? And there's just, you find whatever it is and you do it. And the hardest part is being able to tell the other people that aren't as good as you that you're not going to do it anymore, or that you've just decided to do something else. You know, like that's fine. That's perfectly fine, because that is who you are. There was a post I saw on Facebook not too long ago, and it was something along the lines of, like, you don't have to apologize for feeling bad if somebody says something, you know? You are who you are. If you feel bad when they say that thing, then you feel bad. And that's like a horrible paraphrase, but I think the idea is understood, you know, and it's applied to what I'm saying now is just that you feel the way you feel when certain things happen. You react the way you react to certain stimuli, to certain, you know, words and traumas and foods and all of that, all these things, you know, certain touches, certain whatevers. There's just so many different factors. But we have to start becoming more aware of these things. You know, you have to realize if there's an instance where something happens and you get severe anxiety because of that thing, that's your body telling you that you don't like that thing. You know, you're not getting anxiety because it's something you're supposed to keep doing. And then the fact that you keep doing something that makes you feel bad is then, it's just self-deprecating, basically. I mean, you're on the line of destruction at that point, because you're getting the signal that it's not something that you, as whoever you are, like or want to do, but you go through with doing it anyway, consciously. You have made the decision, you are changing your life right then and there to do things that you don't like to do. And I bet there are people all over the world that think that they're supposed to go out on the weekends and drink Bud Light with the bros and hang out on the beach and do whatever it is, you know, all the fucking time, because that's what people do. If you feel like doing it, you should do it. But I guarantee it, People do not really feel like doing that all the fucking time. And if they do, it's because the programming is so deeply embedded in their fucking cerebellum or their neocortex or any other part of the brain. I don't know brain parts. I'm just making shit up right now. But it's just there. It's just in it. It's like if you woke up and worked out every day for years and then you didn't do it for a week, you'd probably feel fucking crazy. You know, you'd have withdrawals. Same thing with coffee. Same thing with anything that you've programmed yourself to become accustomed to and to do and to be used to, and to learn to live with. So if you program yourself to believe that alcohol is a regular part of your life, and this is just one example, I'm not picking on alcohol, it's just what's coming out right now, because it's very common, then of course, if you stop doing it, you will experience the symptoms of withdrawal. You know, it's not necessarily the alcohol itself, it's just the thing. You know, people withdraw from love. You get into a very serious relationship and you're used to being around a person. You come home at 5 every day. It becomes part of your routine. That person's there. Do they cook your dinner? Do you guys bathe together? Is there like every Wednesday you go see a movie? I mean, it becomes part of who you are. It becomes part of your routine. It becomes part of your programming. And when that goes away, you have empty spaces in your life where that person and time with that person used to be, and you have to put something else there. So what are you going to put there? You have to decide. That's your choice. What are you going to put there? Well, most people try to put things there that make them feel good because that's what was there before. Well, if you can't put that person back there and make yourself feel good with the same person because they're gone now, then you have to put something else there that makes you feel good. Weed makes people feel good. Alcohol makes people feel good. Cocaine makes people feel good. Makes sense? There's a void and you're filling it, but it's not, you're filling it at a lower level, right? Like the reason that you were with that person and they made you feel good and you didn't think about drugs was because that person made you feel better than drugs. And so now you've had to crawfish, you've had to swim your way back to a lesser feeling because that's all you can do. But I mean, unfortunately, that's just not the best choice. That's not the appropriate choice. It's just very difficult to not make it for some people. So I think that's why, like circling back to the, you know, Bud Lights on the weekend is why people do that, because it's a feel-good. It's a feel-good. You get together with people, it feels great. These people want to do the thing that you want to do because you want to do what they want to do because they've been advertised to, and it's the thing that people do. And so everybody's in agreement that this is the thing to do because it makes people feel good. And then there's just no questioning of it. And then people feel good because they know they're supposed to, because they know that that's what that does. It makes you feel good. You've been told that. Well, now that's a part of you. And how are you going to break that? You know, it's really easy to believe what everybody else believes, but deep down, the reason you're still believing it and the reason you're still, you know, succumbing to the pressure is just because you're not really doing what you want to do. You know, what you want to do is hard. What you want to do is difficult because it's different and it's lonely and you have to do it alone, you know, and you can get help from people, you know, along the way. You do what you want to do, you get to a point where you need another person. You call that person, you text that person, you reach out. Hey, I need this, you know cars better than I do. I'm trying to get where I'm going, and, you know, my fucking front main seal is leaking, whatever, you know. You are on your path, and then along the way, you branch out and you get a hold of people who can help you continue on that path, and they understand that, and then you can do the same for them. So it's just turned into another long one. I didn't realize it was going to, but I guess the ones that are important are a lot easier to talk about. So again, you know, if I could just reiterate and drive anything home, it would be, you know, yes, you can be too good for things, and that's perfectly fine because that's who you are. If there are 6 billion people on this planet that aren't too good for Starbucks, then they're not. But if you are, then you are, and that's the reality of it. You don't have to succumb to the pressure of participating in something daily, weekly, ritually, habitually, whatever it is, on this set schedule and set time because everybody else does that. You are completely free to be who you want to be. You can be that individual. It's not easy. It's hard. It's difficult. It's tough. It's grueling. But if that's who you feel you are, that's who you need to be. And maybe you feel you need to be somebody and you start being it, and deep down you really know that's not it. Maybe you were just kidding yourself. Maybe you didn't reach, the level you thought you reached. Maybe there was just something else on top and you're just getting there. Well, good. Now you know. You're figuring you out. You can't let everybody else figure you out for you. It's impossible. You can even go to a counselor or psychologist and have them tell you exactly what's wrong with you, but if you don't understand it the way that you need to, and if you don't start doing the things you need to do to understand it and to go along with your mentality, your actions need to match your mind. So what you're doing should match what you're thinking, and when they're not, it's basically like cognitive dissonance, except it's not the battle between two different thoughts or mindsets. It's the battle between thought and action. So when your actions don't mean match your thoughts and vice versa, it's just another level of confusion. You're not being who you are. So it's very difficult. Medication is very popular because of this. Just coffee, any substance, because I'm very susceptible to substances. I can feel whenever they're affecting me. And so I can tell when caffeine affects me from tea or from coffee. I can tell when sugars affect me, when I've had too much from a sugary salsa, or from, too much honey that I put in a drink or something. I can feel it changing in my body. And so I think that it's just, we're not in tune enough to know what is affecting us, and we need to start realizing that things are affecting us, and to find out if their effects are something that are helping us achieve our goals, and if not, then why are we letting them distract us? Why are we letting them affect us in a way that is detrimenting who we are trying to become as a person, or what we are trying to do with our lives? Is this making sense? I feel like it is. But I'm here alone in my living room, so what do I know? Good stuff. All right. It's probably about that time. One last time, I'll drive it home. Be better. That's it. Just be better. Don't let people tell you that you're not, because you are allowing them. We program each other. You're allowing them to program you. You're accepting their programming. You know what I mean? Somebody can give you a thought or an idea. This may blow your mind. Somebody can give you a thought or an idea, and you don't have to act on it. You don't have to believe it or accept it. You don't have to make it a part of you. You don't have to eat it. You don't have to buy into it. You don't have to take it in. You can just let it go. You can just let it flow, in one ear and out the other. It doesn't have to penetrate you and just become a part of you. It's when you take shit like that in, you have to process it. And while you're processing it, when you're processing it, you're trying to understand it. When you're trying to understand it, the only way to understand it is to do it, or to put yourself in situations that would help you understand it. And so, to obtain a certain true, sincere understanding of something that somebody else has given you, you have to more or less live it to an extent. But don't entertain that shit. Don't do it. You know what's best for you. Hold on to that. Just grab it and hold it, and let all that other shit just hit you and flow off like water. Just like you are the fork in the river, and the thoughts are the river, and they're just flowing around your body, and you don't have to accept any of that. You don't have to open your mouth and drink the water. That's it. Just stay strong in the river, and stay strong with your thoughts, and whatever it is that you think you need to do or want to do. When it becomes logical to you and you know that that's it, then you know that that's it. And then you more or less will have to ignore the comments and the negativity and the people who are telling you, you know, you shouldn't feel like you're too good for this action or activity or place or person or anything anymore. You know, those are the ones who are confused. The people who are trying to tell you that you aren't too good, you know, that you're not as good as you think you are, you're not as great as you think you are, those are the ones that are fucked up. Those are the ones that don't have it figured out. Because if they were doing what they wanted to do, they would have that internal understanding. They would know, I'm doing what I want to do, and if you're here and it's not what you want to do, then by all means, continue on. You need to go do what you need to do. You know, that's the way that they should be interpreting this. But instead, they're just like, oh, you think you're too good for this now? Well, shit. You know, I mean, there's no logic behind it. There's no reasoning. There's just some sort of blatant cliche, and then it makes you feel bad, and that's it. You know, they found a way to make you feel bad. They put enough energy into it to make it sound sincere, when really it's just, you know, fucking surface level, just barely above it's the cream on the top of the coffee. You know, it's just, once you scrape it off, everything below is just thin. There's no substance. I'm rambling now, but this is what you get. You know, this is it. This is just part of what this is right now until it becomes more official and more scripted, if possible. You know, I mean, scripted in a way where, like, things are planned and certain topics are going to be touched on. So just be good, be better. You know, you are too good for that thing. If you believe it, you are. You know, just like if they believe that you aren't, then you aren't. But if they make you believe that you aren't like they believe that you aren't, like they believe that they aren't, then you're just susceptible and you're falling prey to their programming. So if you have to trust yourself, if you finally come to the point where you're trusting yourself, you have to follow through with it. You can't back out. You'll go crazy. You keep backing out on what you think you know is correct, and you'll go crazy. Because you know you're not, deep down, you know you're not being you. You know, your subconscious, your psyche is aware that you are not being you. And it's just, you're just covering it up and letting other people dump their ideas on you, and you're following through with it, and it's not you. How long are you going to do that? Are you going to be, there's this motivational speaker, are you going to be, 72 in a wheelchair and then finally snap out of it and then realize you haven't been living your life? I don't know if anybody's made it this far. We're almost 28 minutes in, but I fucking hope so. You know, I hope this is getting through to some people, because I just feel like this is really important. This is something that people need to truly understand. You know, I listened to Alan Watts, and he says, I always paraphrase, of course, but something along the lines of, like one of his lectures, he would say, I don't think anybody should take me seriously. I don't think that anybody coming to listen to me can learn anything. I have nothing to teach you. He said, the moment that you realize anything, like if I am able to teach you anything, is the moment that you just get up and walk out of here knowing that I've taught you that there's nothing I can teach you. And that's basically kind of what I'm trying to say, in a sense, is that there's nothing that I can teach you. I can sit here and spout all of this all day long about whatever, about actions and ideas and psychology and philosophy and people and why they do things and the traumas involved in the actions today. But it doesn't do you any good if you're just sitting here listening to me talking about it. You have to do to understand. It's you have to act. It's all about acting. You have to act on your thoughts to be who you are. And if you're not acting on your thoughts, then your thoughts are not your own, and you have to change your mind. So how are you going to do it? You have to figure out your own way. People can give you ideas. People can, say that this has helped me and that has helped me. But you have to find your own way. I would recommend meditation, personally. Yoga is another good one. Yoga got me into meditation, actually. They kind of went hand in hand. And so those two things have been phenomenal in raising the awareness in my life. I would definitely recommend yoga and or meditation, definitely. But anything else that makes you feel good, anything, you know, I mean, we have to better our bodies and our minds. I could go on. I'm going to have to make it another video. So, I always feel like I have to reiterate. But, just trust yourself. Be better, you know. Be as good as you know you are. And if the people around you are holding you back, you have to leave those people. You have to at least get away from them to be the you who you are long enough to keep yourself sane, and then you can go back to being with them or whatever. Eventually, you just have to move on completely. So yeah, you are too good for that. You are too good to clean toilets. You are too good to work at McDonald's. You are too good to go to that school. You are too good to drive that car. You are too good to wear your hair that way. You are too good to have that brand of underwear, you know? Like, it's your life. Just fucking live it, you know what I mean? It's everybody's gonna have a disagreement. I'll probably disagree with some of the things that I'm sitting here telling you that you should think you're better than. But that doesn't matter. It doesn't. You should be doing what you want to do. If it makes you feel good, if it makes you feel complete, then do it, you know? And if there are consequences, deal with the consequences. That's just part of it, but don't not do it because something may or may not happen. Then you're just living in limbo. Then you're just, you know, living in your mind. Then you're not a part of reality anymore. So, world's a lot less scary than people think it is. I ran over. That was a 4 gigabyte video. So this will be clipped in, and that was it. that was the entirety. So hope everybody has a good day, good night, good weekend, good life. Just go out and do things and be whole and be who you need to be, you know, and don't feel obligated to do all of these things and feel these ways and act a certain way, you know, just be you and see what happens. So, all right, till next time.